it's making the ground tremble. Then you start to feel the silence even more intensely. And within that silence, something is moving. Branches are snapping, leaves are scattering. And then you see an enormous force standing in front of you. This is the most powerful animal in the United Kingdom. But wait, because everything you think you know about this animal is probably wrong. And by the time you finish watching this video, you won't look at it the same way again. Before we continue, you already know I put a lot of effort into these videos. And for the algorithm to notice us, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and like the video. The European brown bear. Don't let the name fool you, because the word brown doesn't come close to describing what this animal really is. An adult male can reach up to 700 kilograms. Its shoulder height can exceed 2 meters. But those numbers can feel abstract. So think about it like this. The heaviest wrestlers in the world compete at around 130 to 150 kilograms, and they reach that mass after years of intense weight training. In fact, almost all of these athletes lose a significant amount of weight after their careers end just to stay healthy. But the European brown bear naturally carries 5 times that weight, and nearly all of that mass is pure muscle. Let's start with the paw strike. A European brown bear can generate a force exceeding 800 kilograms with a single swipe. 800 kilograms is almost the weight of many hatchback cars. And when that level of force is delivered repeatedly, you can imagine the kind of damage it can cause to any object. But we should go into a bit more detail here, because this strike is not just powerful, it's incredibly fast. Its reaction speed, for an animal of this size, is almost impossible to explain from a biomechanical perspective. We also need to talk about its running speed. The European brown bear can reach speeds of up to 55 kilometers per hour. Olympic sprinters run at around 44 to 45 kilometers per hour, which is one of the highest speeds humans can achieve. This bear easily surpasses that. 700 kilograms, 55 kilometers per hour. Hold these two facts in your mind at the same time, because this combination is critical to truly understanding this animal. And we haven't even reached the most interesting part yet. The metabolism of the European brown bear is one of the things that makes this animal truly extraordinary. Before going into hibernation, this animal can consume up to 20,000 calories per day. To put that into perspective, a Tour de France cyclist burns around 8,000 to 9,000 calories per day during the most demanding mountain stages, and that is one of the highest sustainable energy expenditures a human can achieve. The European brown bear exceeds more than double that as part of its daily routine, and while doing this, it is not running or hunting. It is simply eating berries, fish, roots, insects, whatever it can find. During this period, its body weight increases by 30 to 40%, and that added weight turns into a fuel reserve that makes survival through the winter possible. During hibernation, the exact opposite process takes place. For months, it survives without eating, without drinking, and with almost no movement. During this time, its heart rate drops from around 40 beats per minute to just 8. Its body temperature decreases by a few degrees. Its metabolism is essentially reprogrammed, and throughout this entire period, its muscle mass is preserved. In most mammals, staying inactive for this long inevitably leads to muscle loss, but not in the European brown bear. When researchers study this mechanism, what they find is an incredibly fascinating system that could be useful in many fields. For example, many of us wanted to become astronauts as children, and we've probably watched space documentaries because of that. You may have heard this before, but let me explain it again. When astronauts are in space, the human body undergoes various changes. Since the human body is adapted to Earth's gravity, being in space leads to muscle loss. This is exactly why scientists want to deeply understand the secrets of this bear's metabolism to potentially solve this problem. Now, let's talk about the senses of this brown bear. The European brown bear's sense of smell is about 7 times stronger than that of a dog. Dogs already have a sense of smell that is about 10,000 times more sensitive than that of humans. When you calculate this chain, it turns out that the bear's sense of smell is roughly 60,000 times stronger than a human's. It can detect food from 29 kilometers away. 29 kilometers is a distance we can cover in about half an hour by car in a city. This animal can distinguish a scent from that far away. Its hearing ability is also far beyond that of humans. It can detect ultrasonic frequencies, meaning sound waves that the human ear cannot hear. This allows it to sense approaching danger, distant water sources, or the presence of another bear long before it becomes obvious. But the most interesting aspect of this sensory capacity is this: the bear uses all this information not just to survive, but to actively learn. Yes, learn. European brown bears have regional memory. They remember which river has fish in which season, which slope has fruit ripening at what time, and which routes are the least risky, all stored in their memory for years. This knowledge is passed down between generations. Young bears learn this geographical and seasonal map by observing their mothers. A bear can live up to 30 years, and the knowledge it accumulates over those 30 years becomes a serious advantage within its ecosystem. Which do you think is more dominant? This animal, or the wolf, that shares the same habitat? Write it in the comments, because the answer to this question is a real topic of debate. The impact of the European brown bear on the ecosystem is one of the least talked about, but perhaps the most critical aspects of this animal. A brown bear typically moves across an area of about 700 to 800 square kilometers in a year. Within this range, everything changes wherever it goes. The soil it digs gets aerated, creating the conditions for new plant growth. It spreads the seeds of the fruits it eats across a wide area. By consuming carcasses it hunts or finds, it accelerates the return of organic matter to the soil. While fishing in rivers, it helps regulate the underwater ecosystem, and it does all of this simply by feeding. But the deepest impact this animal has on the ecosystem is hidden somewhere. Else, the fear effect. The presence of a brown bear in an area directly changes the behavior of herbivores like deer. These animals avoid grazing in certain places where the bear is present. They change their movement patterns, and they spend less time near riverbanks. This shift allows vegetation in those areas to recover. Riverbanks become greener, erosion is reduced, and water quality improves. In other words, the brown bear influences the ecological balance of an area not by physically transforming it, but simply through its presence. Ecologists call this the trophic cascade effect, and its importance becomes even clearer when you see how noticeable it is in the absence of the bear. The United Kingdom provides a very interesting example of this. The brown bear disappeared from these lands about 1,000 years ago. Since that absence, vegetation in parts of Scotland has changed significantly. Riverbanks have eroded, and some herbivore populations have grown uncontrollably. Today, the idea of reintroducing the brown bear is high on the agenda in the United Kingdom. Some ecologists argue that this step would help restore ecological balance. Opposing views highlight the risk of conflict with human settlements. This debate is still ongoing, and both sides have strong arguments. What do you think is the right decision in this situation? I personally support the idea of creating dedicated habitats for these animals. You might be wondering how that would work. In areas far from human settlements, within large enclosed landscapes. This animal could live independently in conditions suited to its natural habitat. In some regions, it might not even be necessary to fence the area at all. But in the middle of this debate, we should not forget one thing. This animal once lived in these lands in large numbers. It lived in the forests of Scotland, the valleys of England, and the mountains of Wales. And during that time, these ecosystems were in a very different balance. The absence of the brown bear permanently changed that balance. This is not a theoretical discussion. It is a fact supported by fossil records, pollen analysis, and archaeological findings. And can we bring this animal back to its natural environment? If we do, will it be able to redevelop the same level of harmony and adaptation it once had? These are questions experts have debated for years, but let's return to what we know. Now, I want you to put everything together. 700 kilograms of mass, 55 kilometers per hour of speed, a paw strike exceeding 800 kilograms of force, the ability to consume 20,000 calories per day, zero muscle loss during months of hibernation, a sense of smell with a range of 29 kilometers, a regional memory lasting up to 30 years, and behind all of this, a force that reshapes every ecosystem it inhabits simply by existing. The most powerful animal in the United Kingdom is the European brown bear. But even that statement falls short, because this animal is not just powerful. It is a presence that sustains ecosystems, leaves a mark even in its absence, and is still being debated 1,000 years later. And that mark can still be felt today, invisibly but deeply, in the forests of Scotland, the riverbeds of England, and the mountains of Wales, silently, relentlessly, without ever giving up. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you are curious about which country and which animal I will cover next, make sure to turn on notifications. See you next time.